It was already evening when I arrived at the small hotel at the edge of the town. The sun was setting behind the hills, and the sky looked soft and orange, like someone had painted it with warm colors. The road was empty, and the sound of my shoes on a stone path was the only thing I could hear. The hotel looked old but clean. A wooden sign hung over the door that said, "The Evening Rest Hotel." It was a simple place. 2 floors, white walls, and yellow windows that glowed softly in the dim light. I pushed open the door, and a little bell above it rang. A light ding, echoing through the quiet lobby. Inside, everything was slow and peaceful. There was an old clock ticking behind the counter. A few plants stood near the window. The air smelled a little like tea and old wood. Behind the counter sat an old man wearing glasses. He looked up, smiled slowly, and said in a gentle voice, "Good evening, traveler. Do you need a room for the night?" "Yes," I said, feeling a bit tired after the long bus ride. He nodded, wrote something in a large brown book, and handed me a small brass key. "Room 203, he said. "It's quiet there." "The best for sleep," I thanked him and walked up the wooden stairs. The steps made a soft creaking sound. Not loud, just a slow reminder that the building was old and full of memories. The hallway smelled faintly of soap and rain. My room was at the end. I turned the key, pushed the door, and stepped inside. The room was small but cozy. There was a bed with a white blanket, a wooden chair, and a small desk. A round clock hung on the wall, ticking softly. A curtain danced slowly with the wind from a half-open window. I sat on the bed, feeling the quiet all around me. No city sounds, no cars, no people talking. Only the gentle ticking of the clock and the soft wind moving the curtain. I took off my shoes and lay down for a moment. The bed was slightly cold at first, then slowly became warm. I could feel the tiredness in my body melting away. After a while, I stood up to make some tea. There was an old kettle on a small table and a few tea bags in a glass jar. I filled the kettle with water from the sink and turned it on. It made a soft humming sound as it heated up. While waiting, I looked out the window. Outside, I could see a streetlight shining over the empty road. A cat walked slowly along the wall and disappeared into the shadows. Somewhere far away, a train passed by, its sound deep and slow. The kettle clicked softly. The water was ready. I poured the hot water into a cup and watched the tea turn brown. The smell was calm and gentle, like dried flowers and warm earth. I carried the cup to the chair by the window and sat there, sipping slowly. Each sip felt warm and comforting. I didn't think of anything important. Just watched the curtain move, the clock tick, and the light outside grow softer. It was the kind of evening where time didn't matter. No rush, no noise, just peace. Later, I turned off the main light and left only the small lamp by the bed. Its light was yellow and soft, like honey. The shadows on the wall looked slow, almost sleepy. I lay down again, this time under the blanket. The fabric felt cool against my skin. I could hear the faint sound of rain beginning to fall outside. Tiny drops hitting the window, one after another, like a quiet song. I closed my eyes and listened. Rain, wind, tick-tock. The sounds blended together. Calm, slow, peaceful. I thought about the road that brought me here, the people I saw on the way, the silence that now filled the room. It was strange how sometimes the most boring places could feel the most comforting. There was no television, no phone signal, no music, just silence. And in that silence, my thoughts also became quiet. I thought of how long it had been since I last rested like this. No messages to answer, no meetings, no plans. Just a bed, a cup of tea, and the sound of rain. It felt good to be nowhere special. A while later, I opened my eyes again. The lamplight flickered a little, as if it was also getting sleepy. The rain outside was steady now, and the air in the room was cool. I pulled the blanket closer around me and listened again. Somewhere down the hallway, a door closed softly. Maybe another guest had just arrived. I imagined them walking quietly to their room, maybe feeling the same peace I did. Then silence again. Complete silence, the kind that feels heavy and warm. I could hear my own heartbeat, slow and steady. I could feel my body sinking deeper into the bed. I started to drift, not fully asleep yet, but close. Thoughts began to blur together. The sound of the rain became part of my dream. I saw the hotel again in my mind. The lobby, the bell, the old man smiling. Everything soft, slow, and calm. I imagined walking down to the empty dining room in the morning. There would be a smell of coffee and toasted bread. The sunlight would come through the window and touch the floor. Maybe the old man would greet me again. Maybe I'd tell him I slept well, and he would smile and say, "That's what this place is for, quiet sleep." But for now, I didn't need to move. The world outside could wait. I had nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no reason to hurry. The rain whispered softly against the glass. The wind hummed through the cracks in the window frame. The clock ticked, tick-tick, steady like breathing. Everything was still. Everything was slow. Everything was safe. I felt my eyelids grow heavier, my body softer, my breathing slower. The tea had made me warm. The blanket made me calm. And slowly, I began to fall asleep. I dreamed of walking through the hotel again. The halls were longer this time, glowing with golden light. Every door I passed whispered a soft word. Rest, quiet, peace. I opened one door and saw the same room again, waiting for me. The window, the bed, the clock, all exactly the same. I walked in, lay down, and in my dream, I fell asleep again. A dream inside a dream, layers of rest. When I finally woke up, it was morning. The rain had stopped. Light filled the room gently, touching the desk and the curtain. The clock said 8:15. For a moment, I didn't move. I just lay there, listening to the new silence. Soft and bright. The world felt new again. The boring hotel had given me something special. Deep, simple rest. I smiled to myself and whispered, "Maybe boring places are not boring at all." Then I got up, stretched, and opened the window. Fresh air came in, carrying the smell of wet earth and sunlight. And the day began, quiet and slow, just the way I liked it.